First, though, there is confusion this morning surrounding Harry and Meghan as their alleged paparazzi car chase dominates the news.
Tonight, a tale of two chases. So which side is telling the truth?
Prince Harry, Duchess Meghan reporting a car chase by paparazzi.
Drama in New York City with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle accusing paparazzi of being highly aggressive and following them for 2 hours.
Right now, the NYPD is investigating exactly what took place across the streets of the country's biggest city last night.
OK, so what are we to make of all of this? GMB's Richard Gaisford is in New York for us this morning. So many conflicting reports. Richard, what do we know?
Yeah, the one thing everyone agrees on, it started here behind me at the Ziegfeld Theatre. Meghan was here Tuesday night to pick up a Woman of Vision Award, Lorraine, at a gala charity night. And I think the press interest came because, well, it was the first time that the couple had been seen together since Harry went solo to London for the coronation, leaving Meghan behind in California with the kids. Her mother was here, Doria Ragland too. Lots of smiles as they left, but that's when things changed, and not for the better, in the words of the Sussex's spokesperson, who then describes this relentless pursuit, a near catastrophic car chase across Manhattan, fueled by a ring of highly aggressive paparazzi. So that's their view. You then get the view of the New York Mayor, Eric Adams, who, you know, he's sympathetic, but he doesn't seem to be that convinced that it could have lasted for 2 hours. The New York Police Department adding context to it, saying it was a challenging journey. They remind us that there were no collisions, no injuries, that no one has been arrested. And then you get the paparazzi themselves. And yesterday I was out with one of them, a man who had been part of that pursuit. Took the pictures, in fact, of them in the taxi outside of the police precinct where they'd taken shelter. That taxi then got stuck behind a garbage wagon, and the taxi driver's become a bit of a star because he's been giving his view of events as well.
Paparazzis, they just came out of nowhere and just started taking pictures and flashing. It was like a light show all of a sudden. And Prince Harry and his wife and the other lady, they were nervous and they looked scared. I don't think there would have been an accident because there was not that much traffic at nighttime, you know, but you never know, right? If one of the paparazzi decides to cut me off or anything like that, it is possible.
Interesting. He's having his moment, isn't he? Reports that their own security vehicles may or may not have contributed to all of this chaos. Meanwhile, back in California, there's a stalker at their house. Honestly, it's just relentless, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the paparazzi I spoke to said that in his view and the view of his colleagues, it was their drivers that made it worse because they were driving erratically, speeding up, trying to run the paparazzi off the road, and that certainly sounded dangerous. You're right, in California they've got a 29-year-old man who's been held by police because he has been stalking outside their Montecito mansion. And all of this, Lorraine, at the time when Harry's got a court case in London against the Home Office because he wants better security when he brings his family back to the UK. It does keep going, this machine, the Harry and Meghan machine, doesn't it?
It sure does. It's exhausting. Thank you, Richard. Thank you so much. I'm joined now by former royal correspondent Jennie Bond. Now, Jennie, no matter what you think may happen, and we don't know yet, hopefully we'll find out, recollections may vary, I suppose is the phrase. For Harry, though, this is horrible. This is traumatic. This brings back all sorts of terrible memories for that wee fella.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It must have been very, very triggering for him. I mean, I heard the news as I was driving by the sea down here in Devon on a beautiful, beautiful day, and it took me straight back, 26 years to when the news came through that Diana had been involved in a crash. Obviously, for Harry, this has been extremely upsetting. But we do need to find out, as you say, amidst all this confusion, exactly what did happen. And why were there no arrests if there was such reckless driving by whoever? I cannot understand in the middle of New York if people are mounting pavements, almost running down pedestrians, going the wrong way down one-way streets. Whoever was doing that, paparazzi or their cars, someone should be held to account. And nobody has been. So it's a very confusing situation.
It really is. And of course, as we know, Harry shared his concerns about the paparazzi before, specifically in that Netflix documentary.
Do we have that pap on the scooter again?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, we do? Really? Same guy?
Same guy.
Oh, my God.
Now, this was one paparazzi on a Vespa or a scooter or whatever it was, and you could see in Harry's face how much that affected him. So, for goodness sake, you know, times that by an awful lot and all the chaos. The poor wee soul. I mean, I do feel very, very sorry for him.
Yeah, but the trouble is that all this confusion just adds to the feeling that whatever Harry and Meghan say, it is questioned, and sometimes questioned quite correctly. In that clip, for example, it was used in the Netflix documentary to illustrate the fact that they were pursued by paparazzi in the UK and their life was unbearable here. But that footage actually was taken in the USA. And throughout Netflix, they used images which purported to be Harry and Meghan being chased, and actually it wasn't. It was completely different footage. So they shoot themselves in the foot, really. And that is the tragedy of this, I think, that it's reignited the whole debate about, do Harry and Meghan just see the world in a different way? Do they see insults and threats where they don't exist? I mean, clearly last night was horrible for them, and they should not. I'm very sorry they were pursued by paparazzi in that way. Over here, they would not have been pursued in that way, in my view, because ever since Diana's death, the rules have been very much tightened up. Post the Leveson inquiry, the Press Complaints Commission said that there must be no relentless pursuit, persistent pursuit, intimidation or harassment by members of the press. And very largely after Diana's death, in the years that have succeeded, that has been true. I mean, look at, Catherine and William, they don't have all these problems, and they go to glitzy events and are on the public scene all the time, and they don't have these problems.
No, and it's properly, you're right, it's properly controlled. And it's very ironic that they said that they didn't want press intrusion over here, and in fact they've gone somewhere where it is a million times worse. Now, interestingly, it looks like the royal family so far haven't made any reaction or sent any support. That is at least according to Omid Scobie, who speaks sometimes on behalf of them. This is him on Newsnight.
I was really surprised to hear from sources that not one member of the royal family, including King Charles and Prince William, who are obviously heavily affected by Princess Diana's death, had not reached out to Prince Harry hours after this news had broken. You know, it was on the on every single headline around the world. And sadly, that kind of shows the state of disrepair that relationship is.
Well, we don't know. They may well have texted them or spoken to them. There's a time difference and all of that. We don't know that yet, do we, Jenny?
No, exactly what I was going to say. Nobody knows. Omid doesn't know. His sources don't know. There could be a private message. You think father to son, there might well be a private message. If not last night, then today, just expressing some concern. But, I don't think William will be picking up the phone in any great hurry to talk to Harry.
Jenny, thank you very much. It's always good to hear from you. I would say in one of the photographs, it looked very much like they weren't wearing seatbelts. Please wear seatbelts, everybody, and especially if you are being pursued by the paparazzi, for goodness sake. Because I do remember when some doctors said that if Diana had been wearing a seatbelt, she may, we don't know, but she may well have survived. So it might just have been a moment that we're in the car and they didn't have them on, but wear your seatbelts.